And welcome here on LBTV for a special news edition of LBTV News. I'm Sean Michael alongside Pablo Martinez. We are live here at GCS Ballpark this afternoon for a special LBTV News as well as the men's baseball team will be taking on the Mighty Oaks of Oakland College. Pablo Martinez here.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing today?
Good, very good.
It's a great day for baseball.
Yes, it is.
It sure is. We are here live for a special news edition of LBTV News as well. Just before we cut away to the baseball action that we'll have later at 1 o'clock. But Pablo Martinez, we'll get introduced with your news story here.
Well, my news story, it's about the speaker series that took place on Thursday. A friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, he's working for the marketing club, and he was asking me if someone could go and record it. So I went there, and I could see really good speeches. It was a coaches edition, so we had Lindenwood head coaches and assistant coaches doing the speeches, and they share all the wisdom. Those words and experiences that they provided to the audience were amazing, and I think it was a pretty good event to join in the next editions, because they are having, I think, 2 more. So it was a really fun and entertaining and also inspirational. The Marketing Club hosted its 4th annual speaker series in the Dixon Center. This time it was a coaches edition. 3 of our Lindenwood head or assistant coaches were in charge of inspiring all the present viewers with their words. I was able to talk to one of the protagonists of those inspirational speeches.
Any successful person has had to experience numerous failures. That's the whole point of it. You know, the whole point is learning from your failures, learning from difficulties, having a difficult time. It teaches you how to overcome those things, how to persevere through difficult times. That's what it's all about. That's the way life is. We're not going to win at everything we do. We're going to lose some too. But we got to take those losing opportunities and create them into something positive. We got to win with those losses. The losses turns into wins, and if you figure it out, getting back in the game and not giving up. That's what life is. It's success is dealing with failures, dealing with frustration, dealing with difficult times. That's what it's all about.
The co-president of the marketing club, Anastasia Villanueva, stopped by in front of our cameras as well, in order to explain me more about the club. She talked about this and all the events they are hosting this semester.
Last semester we had 2 speaker series, and they were phenomenal. So we had 2 staffs, so we had 5 speakers come out each event. I chose to pick those coaches because they are very beneficial and they have lots of wisdom to share. So we thought maybe doing a coaches edition this semester would be totally different and bring more viewers and things like that. This semester we had a business speed coaching event, a LinkedIn seminar that was in the past. We had an LUB Marketing Madness. All those events were very successful. And then we had a speaker series on the 21st of March, and then this one, and then April 18th, and then we have a flea market that's coming soon so that students can come and sell their items.
As Anastasia said, the next speaker series will be April 18th, with 5 new dynamic speakers from the Lindenwood staff. This is Pablo Martinez reporting for LBTV News.
And now pleased to be joined by Drew Ryberg. Drew, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, Sean. It's a wonderful day outside, a little windy, not too cold, not too hot. It's really nice.
Very nice day. Now, what is your news story this week?
I did a couple different news stories. I did one on Marcia Parker, professor at Lindenwood. So I just kind of went and talked to her about her life since she's getting ready to retire soon.
Okay. And your other news story that will be coming up after this one, what is your second story?
It's going to be about the play coming up this weekend, which is People and Places. It's being directed by some student directors, and it's their first time directing, and it'll feature a lot of actors who aren't in the theater major, a lot of people from outside, the theater, so it's a really interesting show that'll be happening.
If you're directing the show, I'm so
yeah.
You guys with me in the show, as well as Janousek, who will be joining us here in just a bit. But let's go into Drew's news stories here on WTV.
Lindenwood Belleville's theater department's show People and Places is opening this weekend. It will be directed by the theater majors and will feature many students from outside of the theater major. So I asked the actors how they are enjoying it.
So I'm a business administration major, and so far the experience has been great. I've had a lot of fun working with the directors and doing the play. This is actually my first time ever doing theater, so it's been a great experience for me so far. Directors have been real encouraging and teaching and everything.
I am a corporate comm major with advertising and PR. I've always loved acting, so it's not necessarily a far branch out, but it's really nice because people are like, oh, what's your major? Corporate comm. Oh, you do acting? Yeah, like people are more intrigued because they know I'm not an acting major.
My major is business administration and I'm doing a minor in international business. Honestly, I've had some experience with acting, so when Andrea gave me the idea, to come out of my comfort zone and come back into acting, I was really excited because I kind of knew what I was doing and I thought of it like a new opportunity to go back into things that I loved doing when I was younger.
People and Places will have 2 performances this Friday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. It will feature explicit language. Admission is free and donations will be accepted.
It's a lot of fun. I never thought I would enjoy this as much as I did, and for me this has been a really fun time, and I've never done theater and I've really enjoyed it, so I think it's something everybody should try at least once.
So for everyone that always hears about the shows after the fact, the one-acts are a great way for you to experience the theater here at Lindenwood in real time.
The audience can hear me. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughs. We've been putting in so much hard work, taking time out of our day when we have job, practice, homework. You guys are going to really like it, and I hope you guys can come and join us here.
Reporting for LBTV News, this is Drew Rydberg.
Exciting weekend.
Oh yes, definitely. Be awesome. A lot of stuff going on.
They got a few shows this weekend that you can see on 7 on Friday and Saturday night. So this should be really exciting if you got nothing to do on campus, or if you want something to do, or if you have friends in the show, check it on over at the Lindenwood Auditorium. 7 on Friday and Saturday. Well, now Drew, we go into your second.
Parker has been in the Lindenwood family for a long time, and she will soon be retiring from her full-time position as a professor. Throughout her time at Lindenwood, Marcia has helped many students.
She changed my life. I mean, I came here just to study business, and my first semester I need to take an elective, so I took acting, and she talked to me about, going to audition for the Christmas Carol play that year in 2016, my first semester. So I did it, I really liked it, and after my first year here, I became a major, like an official major, and now of course I'm doing business and acting, but I put more focus on acting just because, I don't know, it's something that really inspired me, and I never did it before until I came here.
I decided to go to Marcia to ask her about her long time at Lindenwood.
I've been at Lindenwood longer than I am old because my mother worked at Lindenwood when she was pregnant with me. I did my undergraduate degree here, and I was in the last all-female class to start at Lindenwood, which was great. I loved it. And then the next year when we had 15 men, we called them the Fabulous 15, and that was ironic and sarcastic. It wasn't meant. I was one of those women standing in front of the men's dorm burning an effigy of a man because we really wanted to stay at women's college. But we made the decision, and ultimately we ended up being completely co-educational. And then I came back for graduate school in the 80s. So I graduated in 1967 from high school, and then I graduated in 1971 from Lindenwood. And then I came back for graduate school and graduated with my MFA in theater in 1987. And then shortly thereafter, I started work. And I was initially, when I came to Lindenwood, when I came to work here, I was here as the director of evening and graduate admissions. And then shortly, well, maybe 3 years later, I became the alumni director. And then maybe 3 years after that, I became the dean of fine and performing arts. And then about 9 years ago, I stepped away from that position and came to Belleville and have been here ever since as director of theater. And now I'm getting ready to retire. I mean, I'm really more blue about it because I've been defined by my position for a lot of my life, my adult life. And I've been at Lindenwood over 32 years, so you can imagine that it's going to be kind of weird walking around in a world where I'm not completely connected like I have been. And I know that the thing I'm going to miss the most are the students, because I can't see myself a lady of leisure.
Reporting for LBTV News, this is Drew Rydberg.
Welcome back. Now pleased to be joined by Shania from the Outlook. Thank you for joining us here. Since you're a part of the class here on LBTV News. So what is your story about, Shania?
So last week I did a story going into Greek life. What is Greek life? What is it about? And we have two different fraternities at the school at Lindenwood. So I just asked them what is their fraternity about.
All right, let's check that out.
Lindenwood University, we have two different fraternities, Phi Beta Sigma and Sigma Tau Gamma. This coming up week is Greek Week, and I wanted to know what Greek Week was all about.
Okay, so Greek Week is basically for campus involvement, where we get both the Greeks on campus, where we're gonna have a week long of events. This will also help recruitment for the upcoming semester.
So Greek Week is not just about Sig Talk. For everybody on the campus, it's about getting everybody involved with Greek life that's not already involved in Greek life. A lot of the times some people think that they can't come around to our events and stuff like that because they're not affiliated with us. But the main goal of this week is to let people know that they can come and they can participate with us no matter who they play for, if they're even interested in joining the fraternity. This is for the campus, not just for Greek life.
I also wanted to know what the fraternities are all about.
So Sig Tau is a fraternal organization that was founded in 1920 by a group of World War I veterans that wanted to continue the aspects of brotherhood that they found in war. So basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to give each of our members a tool belt to work on themselves to become a better man, in the world, become a better citizen, practice integrity, and as well, exemplify gracious professionalism in the workplace, at school, wherever you go.
Sigma, so we are a fraternity founded in 1914 on the campus of Howard University, Washington, D.C. We are about brotherhood, scholarship, service.
Reporting for LBTV News, this is Shania Viaba.
You had another news story.
Yeah, so I did a story on Greek Week, on what it is, what it's about. So that was last week. Now this week is actually Greek Week, and my first event that I went to when it was Greek Week is I went to the open mic event.
Open mic event. Now where was that held?
That was held in Nats at 6 Monday night, and it was pretty good.
Let's check that one out.
Take my horse on the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. You know, just what we came love, what we made it love.
Open mic night was a great way to start off Greek Week for the fraternities Phi Beta Sigma and Sigma Tau Gamma. I asked two members from each fraternity how the event went.
The event was pretty successful. We had a lot of students come out, a lot of people participate and sing.
I also wanted to know what some students sang for open mic night.
I sung a couple songs. I sung Candy Rain, Yo Excuse Me Miss by Chris Brown.
Am I okay right here, Chris?
A lot of throwbacks, honestly.
I sung J. Cole, Wet Dreams. Everybody's favorite.
My favorite song of all time, Cocoa Butter Kisses by Chance the Rapper.
Sung Old Town Road by Lil Nas.
Reporting for LBTV News, this is Shania Viaba.
See, I met her at this party in Atlanta, but I met her at this party in Chicago. She came right up to me, giving me conversation. I said, "Did you got a man?" She says, "No, with no hesitation."
And now please be joined by the last member of our crew, Bill Chisholm, who's also a pitcher for the baseball team here on campus, GCS Ballpark. You don't get play time today, but you get to join me in here. Okay.
It's the next best thing. It's sure next best thing being up here in the booth. Beautiful day for us.
This sure is. And we understand the last story being on the campus fitness, intro to campus fitness, and why don't you give us a brief rundown about that?
Yeah, so Shayla Mathis actually reported on this story. She's out, obviously had their wisdom teeth pulled, so she's in our thoughts, thinking about her. She's going through some pain back there, but we're going to report on her story. She went and looked at all of the different Zumba and CrossFit and yoga things that we offer here on campus. So she went and checked that out if you're worrying about getting the perfect summer body and stuff to get in shape. So it's a good way for Lindenwood students to get back in shape before summer hits. So she went and checked out all the different fitness activities we have going on here on campus.
All right, let's see what Shay covered this week.
Summer just around the corner, and vacation in the near future, there's another thing on students' minds, their summer body. Now is the time that students are worried about getting their body in beach-ready shape. But a solution to that problem is being offered as we speak. Lindenwood offers free fitness classes ranging from Zumba, CrossFit, and yoga. I asked the instructors what their personal experiences were with each program.
I got into CrossFit when I decided to join the military. I knew I wanted to go special operations route, and my recruiter recommended that to me. That was February of 2010. So I'm into my 10th year as far as like an athlete doing CrossFit. Coaching and training, I have been coaching to some extent for probably the last 6 or 7 years, as a profession for the last 4 or 5.
I started yoga about 5 years ago. I was just looking for something new and different to enhance my life. And so I started just coming to a few classes a week, and I just enjoyed it so much that I continued to take more and more.
The instructors also had this to say to anybody who may be scared about showing up.
I started day one. Everybody starts on day one. The expectation there is not that
Do you want us to talk for a minute or two, or do you just want them to throw the break?
Fitness. The expectation is that we can listen.
So we'll get on here and just chat for a minute or two about the game or something.
To those students or those people or anybody, it's a very non-threatening environment. It's very non-competitive. There's no judgment. So it's something that you can experience at your own pace, at your own level.
I'm Shayla Mathis, reporting for LBTV News.
Well, that's going to wrap up our LBTV news stories here this week. So, Dylan, you have the call with me here on LBTV for the men's baseball game here at GCS Ballpark in Sauget, Illinois. Who's got the ball from Coach Johnson today?
So, Rob Parks is going to take the mound today. He's a junior left-handed pitcher. He's going to get the mound today, and hopefully he throws the ball well.
All right, any scouting report on the mighty Oaks of Oakland College?
So we actually played them last week at their place. So we had a road trip. They took the first game from us, and we ended up getting the second game by a score of 6-0. So should be a good dogfight today. We've got a couple of 7-inning games coming your way, so hopefully the Lynx can get a sweep.
Absolutely. So game 1 will be here on LBTV. Game 2 will be on the Lynx baseball Twitter feed. So be sure to tune in for that. Game 2 of this doubleheader action here today. We'll give it to you here in about 10 minutes away from first pitch. For Dylan Chisholm and everybody here with LBTV, I'm Sean Michael. Have a great rest of your day.
You can't understand someone until you've walked a mile in their shoes.
How do you do that when it comes to subjects that are often too tough to even begin to talk about?
Conversation can bring understanding, empathy, knowledge, and the willingness to stand up and make a difference.
Join us on April 27th at Lindenwood University, Belleville for the 4th annual Call for Help Walk a Mile in Her Shoes event to benefit the Sexual Assault Victims Care Unit.
Be part of the conversation to raise awareness about gender-based violence.
And welcome to GCS Ballpark here in Sauget, Illinois for Lindenwood Lynx baseball action. As I say, let's play two here today. It's a doubleheader between the Lindenwood Lynx and the Mighty Oaks of Oakland University. Glad to have you here in the broadcast booth. I'm Shawn Michael alongside Dylan Chisholm. Dylan, it's a beautiful day here today. It's a great day for baseball, and let's play two.
Absolutely. It's a great day for baseball. You see the wind is blowing pretty hard out to right field, so it's going to favor the left-handed hitters today, but good for the Lynx. They have the left-handed pitching Rob Parks on the mound, so hopefully he can keep those left-handed hitters at bay and keep the ball to the left side of the field.
Probably the wind, the only thing that'll be a factor on this beautiful day. The temperature, a cool, balmy 70 degrees here at the ballpark. And the wind is blowing very strong here this afternoon, so that should be the only thing that's a factor here today. Not many clouds in the sky, but it should be a great day nonetheless. Now, the Lynx played these Mighty Oaks just last week, you said.
Yeah.
Pregame.
Yeah, the Lynx played. We played to the Mighty Oaks. We actually went on the road and played against them in their home ballpark. They took the first game. We ended up taking the second game by a score of 6-0. So today should be a good matchup, and the Lynx are looking to take two more and get that record back over 500.
All righty, and we about to set for the first pitch here today. It is 1 o'clock. It may come at 1:01, the first pitch, but we had the first batter for the Mighty Oaks, being Noah Bogner, coming to the dish here. So sit back and enjoy this one between the Lynx and the Mighty Oaks. As the first pitch is a low outside for ball one. You can take it from here if you'd like, Dylan. That one's right there, just a little high.
Rob Parks features a good fastball in the mid-80s. He features a really good breaking ball as well. We'll see that. We'll see him use that a lot. He likes to go to it when he gets ahead in the count behind 2-0 there. There's another one that misses high.
Noah Bond playing left field for his club here this afternoon.
So you see Parks starting with a 3-0 count, so not the start I'm sure he was anticipating. Hopefully he can get back in the zone. There's one right down the middle.
Yeah, the wind becoming more of a factor as the afternoon is going on here this afternoon. It's really wasn't big, and now it's starting to blow a lot more.
And there's
just as this game starts.
First walk for Parks, and something that is noteworthy, this Lynx defense, we're going to see a good one today. The Lynx actually rank 8th in the nation in fielding percentage, so really good defensive team. Kellan Murray at third, Colin Sockley at short, Bo Collier at second base, and Matt Janousek at first. A really solid infield. And then you've got Darius Ford in left, Austin Fleming in center, and Andre Roberts out in right. So really good defensively, and then Drew Guido behind the plate with a really solid arm back there. So you should see some good defense put on display, and Rob Parks now facing the lefty trying to get that double play.
So our inaugural broadcast here on LBTV is the second pitch by Parks to this at-bat to Franz. Now 0-2 for Parks, which is right where you'd like to see him.
And let's see if we see that breaking ball here. Guido setting up outside. Another fastball. That one was
just
close.
Outside. got all the camera crew out here for this one. On LBTV, we're utilizing 4 cameras that you'll see throughout our broadcast here at GCS Ballpark.
On the one outside, yeah.
This one's just high.
A lot better production than we're used to. Usually we film off the iPad through our Twitter broadcast, and that's always a good time. A lot of the parents and friends of the players like to tune in, but it's really nice to have this big camera set up as Park gets his first strikeout of the day. It's really nice when you can set up all these really nice cameras, have multiple angles. So this is something that's a treat for the players and for me. Usually I'm broadcasting off the iPad, but today we have a lot of high quality production, so it's really nice to sit in on that as well.
That brings up Colton White, the shortstop for his team this afternoon. Devin France retired on the capital K, as this one's just outside for a ball. For those of you keeping score at home.
And another one. The umpire hasn't really been given a lot of calls on that side of the plate thus far. We've seen with a left-handed batter and a right-handed batter, both of those calls not getting made to his glove side.
Third pitch.
There's a strike.
It's a strike. Well, that is one thing that I've noticed in this baseball. People want the automatic computer umpires, and to me that just takes a lot of the joy out of the game if you want to go that route.
And I might sound old school in this regard because I know a lot of new school people would like to see an automated strike zone because they feel umpires are sometimes either biased or unfair, holding a grudge against certain people. But to me, that creates a narrative, and that's what's important in baseball. Baseball is full of narrative. Good one from Parks. That's his second strikeout.
There you go.
That one looking. But no, I definitely disagree with the automatic strike zone. I think that we already have the instant replay, so you have to have some form of human error in the game, and I think that's part of it. So I think. I realize people want the calls to be made right, but I think that baseball is beautiful because of that human error aspect.
In many ways, I agree with you as well. As the biggest myth I believe in sports is the second pitch of the at bat in their first strike, the inside corner, is that there is a strike zone, but that's 80%. You got to match the umpire strike zone. 80 to 90% of the going to match the umpire strike zone might match the actual strike zone. Mm-hmm. And as a pitcher, you got to figure out that game as well as a batter. You got to figure out that part of the game. The game within the game.
Exactly. And me being a pitcher, I enjoy that kind of game where you get out there, and I always tell my catchers before I go into a game, let's see how far we can get outside the plate with this umpire. Let's see what his zone is. And you kind of have to play a game with the umpire as to whether can I get a few inches outside, can I get a few inside, is he calling high, is he calling low. So it's kind of a mental game that you play with your catcher and with the umpire to see what kind of calls you can get away with throughout the game. And I think that's an enjoyable aspect for me about the game.
Right now, Parks is, if you're just joining us, he got the first runner aboard via a walk, but struck out the next two. As the runner goes, and this one's a fly out to center field. This one's back deep towards the wall. Make the grab, can't do so. The center fielder, one run will probably score.
And you can see
a double right there for Dylan Wilton.
The wind aiding that baseball as it's blowing right out there towards the area where that ball was hit. Austin Fleming, a great center fielder, fielding percentage on 1,000 for the season, but that ball drifting because of the wind. That wind is pushing the ball back really hard. That's a really tough play and a long way for him to go in that alley.
So that brings up the next batter for Oakland University. That'll be Tyler Shamblin, the designated hitter for his squad. This one's right down the middle for strike one.
So Oakland City with the early 1-0 lead after that double. Let's see if Parks can find his way out of this one with just the one run being scored.
0-1 and just inside. Low. People still filing in here at the ballpark as well. It's
beautiful day to come out to the ballpark.
Understand that the concession stand is open now.
Concession stand is open now. That's great news for everybody.
I just saw an Oaks fan come in with a hot dog. So I know some of our crew did not get breakfast this morning on the way.
I know a lot of our crew was.
I did. So
a lot of our crew were complaining that the concession stand wasn't open yet. They were getting hungry, so now they don't have to travel or go anywhere. They can go down and grab a hot dog or a slice of pizza or something.
The 1-2 here from Parks. Like to see him get out of this jam in the beginning. Tried to get his batter chasing with one in the dirt.
And that's a good pitch there on 1-2. He set him up with that breaking ball. Rob Parks throws a really good late breaking and sharp ball. That's a good pitch there on 1-2. Now he draws even 2-2. Let's see if he goes back to the fastball here. And as I say often on our broadcasts, it's full of twos here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner at second. Top half of the first inning, the Mighty Oaks have the 1-0 lead.
Uh-oh. So one gets past the catcher there for the Lynx, and he has to scoop all the way over to...
That'll be a wild pitch from Parks. So now a runner 90 feet away, and the count goes to 3-2.
So full count, runner at third, swing and a foul ball just away from us here in the broadcast booth. It goes right back to the screen, over the screen rather.
And we've seen a lot of those this year, the balls that come up right above us. We have yet to have one come into the booth this year, though. So that netting is pretty high. It makes it a little difficult. And Rob Parks gets out of it. So he strands the runner at third. However, the Mighty Oaks do pick up the 1 run. They lead it 1-0. We head to the bottom half of the first year at GCS Ballpark. The Mighty Oaks lead it 1-0. So we're back for the bottom half of the first inning here at GCS Ballpark. Kellan Murray is going to kick things off for the Lynx on their end of the offense. They trail 1-0. Will Davis is the pitcher they're going to face today for the Mighty Oaks. He toes the rubber, the right-handed pitcher, and he delivers strike 1, so the 0-1 count to Kellan Murray. Breaking ball, that doesn't catch the inside corner. It's 1-1. So now it's a 1-1 count to Murray. Next to him, misses outside. Murray moves ahead 2-1. And for the Mighty Oaks, if you're just joining us, they grabbed a run in the top half of the first inning as that ball's fouled away. That'll even things up at 2-2. Rob Parks walked the first batter of the game and then moved up a bag and scored on an RBI double out to right center field. It was just out of the reach of center fielder Austin Fleming. So that's how the Mighty Oaks got aboard. They did strand a runner at third, however. Rob Parks was able to escape a jam, and there's a ball chopped to short. Don't know if the shortstop's going to have enough time, and he drops it. So that should go as an infield single for Kellan Murray, as I don't know if he would have made the play on that anyway.
It's going to be tough. It's tough to see on that one. It would have been close play at first base. Looks like they'll score to hit for the
And that should be a hit. That's a hard ball for a shortstop to come in and make. Even if he fields that ball cleanly, you don't know if he's gonna make that play.
So get this: our scoreboard operator put 2 hits on for the Lynx, and this is our second batter of the game here.
He's anticipating Bo Collier doing something good here. Collier takes ball 1.
Must be doing so.
And rightly so, as Collier's having a really good year. Average up over 320. And he's held down that number 2 spot in the lineup all season long. He lifts that one foul into the seats and right. Coach Johnson giving Kellan Murray his signs from the dugout. And Collier back up the middle. Don't know if they're going to have enough time to turn 2. There's 1, and the return throw back to first is not in time, so Kellan Murray is out on the fielder's choice at second, and Collier will replace him at first with 1 away. And if anything, that gives the Lynx more freedom to run, as Collier with 15 stolen bags on the season. And the Lynx do something that's pretty interesting. We implemented it last year, and we're doing it again this year. If a player has over 15 steals, they replace their shoelaces with red laces to let everybody else on the team know that they can steal bags. And if you get over 25, you get the gold laces. So that's what everybody shoots for, is the gold laces. But Collier is on first with the red laces. And
he's going to be looking for those gold laces.
And he might try and add to his numbers here. Stays put there as Stockley fouls one off his foot. And this is the Lynx' biggest power threat, Colin Sockley, coming in with 6 homers on the season, and he hit his first 5 in the season all in the same week. It was 5 games back-to-back where he hit a home run in 5 straight games, and then he added to that total this past weekend with his 6th. So the Lynx' biggest power threat, the shortstop, Colin Sockley.
We'll see what happens here for him. Just outside.
Misses away. And there will be a base hit to the right side. Collier's going to stop at second base, so 2 are on for the Lynx with 1 away, and now here's Matt Janousek. And something interesting to note about Matt Janousek, he's a guy that really tore it up at the beginning of the season. He's a transfer from SIC, a community college, and he came in here this year and really had a great start to the year. He hit a walk-off home run with the Lynx down to their final out in extra innings against Park University. That was the first conference series of the year. And then he went down with a hamstring injury while running the bases, so he was out for about 3 weeks. And he came back last week in midweek action, and he hit a home run in his second at-bat back from injury. So the Lynx sorely missed that in their lineup, and he also went deep this past weekend against Williams Baptist University, a series with the Lynx won 2-1. He had a huge series, had tons of hits, and then of course he had a moonshot home run. So Matt Janousek really seeing the ball well, and the Lynx are happy to have him back in the lineup.
Will Davis from the stretch delivers home, and this one's a line pop-up to right field, trailing the line. Will it be fair? No, it will be foul. It hits the concourse out there in right field. And well, Davis kind of in a jam now, just in the start of his first inning.
Yeah, and you see with that, with the wind blowing towards right field, that ball just kept drifting and drifting. He thought it might have had a chance to get down in that corner, but it takes it into the seats. But yeah, Collier stands at first base and Collier at second base and Stockley at first. 2 of the guys that are really integral parts of the Lynx lineup, and the Lynx 1 through 5 in the lineup is just about as dangerous as anybody.
The 1-1 now, just out inside, ball 2. It's 2-1 now the count, the umpire signals.
And let's see if Janousek gets a fastball he can handle here, 2-1.
Both pitchers here in this first inning have had runners in scoring position from the start. This one is chubbed foul off the foot. That's got to sting.
Those are scenarios I'm glad I'm a pitcher. I don't imagine fouling those balls off your ankle feels too great.
So Davis gets back on the rubber. from the stretch. He peers on back to second base. Nobody covering.
Collier getting antsy there, looking to take a bag. He thought about it there as that ball bounced in. Thinks better of it, returns back to second. And Collier loves to get jumpy out there, loves to make the pitcher think, loves to make the catcher think. Even if he's not running, he's always a threat and trying to get in the head of the pitcher and catcher playing mind games out there.
So the count's full. Davis feeling a little adversity as well this first inning. The pitch, swing and a grounder through the hole on the third base side. That's going to go through. They're going to hold the runner. No, the runner's going to go through the sign at third base, and it pays dividends. The throw was in time, but the catch could not be caught by the catcher Rivera, and so the Lynx have tied the game.
And you could see there around third base, Collier, I think if he would have been called out there probably would have been interference on the play. As the third baseman was in the running lane, Collier ran into the third baseman, and I think that's really the only reason that play was close, because Collier had a full head of steam. He ran into that third baseman, but luckily the ball was dropped, so we don't have to worry about an interference call, and the game's tied at 1. And now it's going to be C.J. Norman, who really broke out. He's kind of gone in and out of playing time throughout the year, and now they're going to check at third to see if he touched the bag.
The appeal is no good. He was safe over there at third base.
C.J. Norman, a guy who's kind of fought for playing time all year and really, really earned the DH spot this past weekend, a series where he collected a bunch of hits. Every game was a multi-hit game for him, had a huge series, so that's why he's in the DH spot today. Let's see if he can keep the momentum going. He's perhaps the Lynx' hottest hitter right now. And the next one to C.J. Norman is slice foul. So the count's going to move to 1-1 here. So Stockley's your runner at second, and Janousek at first after the RBI single. That tied this game at 1. The Lynx with 3 hits already in the bottom half of this first inning. So Norman now with a 1-1 count, the next pitch. And Davis fires a strike. He moves ahead 1-2.
Yeah, the wind been a factor all game long. There's something with the wind right now. That's the flag there in center field blowing.
And we've already seen the wind play a part in this game. As that fly ball, which the Mighty Oaks scored a run, it pushed that ball out of the reach of the center fielder Austin Fleming. There's a chop foul by C.J. Norman. Remains 1-2.
Good hands over there by the Lindenwood third base coach.
Coach Skinner with some nice hands over there. He always likes to try and show off over there in the third base box.
Who's the first base coach for the Lynx? Who's the first base coach for the Lynx?
That'll be Coach Harper over there in the first base box.
Does he have as good hands?
I think you're
going to put your coaches on the spot here.
These two would argue, Coach Skinner and Coach Harper, they would argue as to who has better hands between the two of them. They both like to try and show off on those foul balls, see if they can barehand them. I think Coach Skinner's had more luck over there with scooping those foul balls, but I can tell you right now, Coach Harper for a second doesn't believe that he is the lesser fielder.
A jam now for Davis. Appears on back to second base, nobody covering. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's a big out there for Davis. C.J. Norman's retired. So that's the second out of the inning. Bring up Drew Guido.
So Drew Guido, an interesting bat for the Lynx, a guy that probably has the most raw power on the team, maybe a guy other than Colin Sockley, but I mean, you watch this guy take batting practice and he loves hitting balls out. Got a lot of raw power, and when he connects, the ball flies.
Batting in the 6th spot for the Lynx. Takes a swing at the first pitch, strike 1.
And you'll see a lot of those swings early in the count for Guido, a lot of swings where he tries to think about only one thing, and that's driving a ball either in a gap or over a fence.
Lynx wearing their white uniforms with the white pants and the pinstripe down the side of the pants. There's a swing and a miss here. Strike 2 for Drew Guido as the Mighty Oaks are wearing their navy blue uniforms with the navy hats and the gray pants. I believe there is a stripe down the side as well. Tough to tell right up here. But the 0-2 now is Guido's in the hole. Takes one in the dirt, ball 1.
And that pitch right there has been the difference for Guido. You know, maybe the first 10 games of the year he swings at that pitch and strikes out, but lately he's done a good job of laying off that off-speed pitch in the dirt when he falls behind. He's done a good job of recognizing that pitch, and it's gotten him into some better counts and better at-bats, and he's seen his batting average rise quite significantly because of it.
1-2 fouled off to that right side, just to the right of the Lindenwood Lakes dugout. Runner going over at second base. Dirt, a throw in time. Oh, taking out the third baseman. Bedwell. Believe he had the tag on, but a hard slide, as they would say, by Colin Sockley into third base, and Bedwell went head over heels on the slide. Still tried to sell the play, but
that's a really hard slide at third. Now the Mighty Oaks coach going to come out and have a talk with the umpire about that slide, perhaps. I don't know if he's arguing with the slide or arguing that his third baseman got the tag down. Regardless, Colin Sockley comes in, and I think the umpire is saying that the throw definitely beat him to third. There's no question about that, but I don't think he slapped the tag on, and I think the way that Colin Sockley took him out at third kind of prevented him from being able to get that tag down. So now a good opportunity for Guido to pick up multiple RBIs here as Janousek moves into second and Sockley moves into third with the stolen base.
2's across here. 2 men aboard.
Colin
but
Sockley,
the score tied at 1.
Sockley, another guy that likes to really run, and I know he's getting close to that 15 stolen bag mark.
Pitch almost
another good take by Guido there.
Almost got Guido chasing, but a good eye right there, as you said there.
It's a long first inning for Davis out there on the mound. Should also be noted, Rob Parks has sat in there a long time. There's a chopper. This is going to be a really tough play for the second baseman. He fields and throws. Nice play.
Good play there by Morris over to Whitland over at first base. The Oaks get out of the jam, and that is the end of the first inning. We are tied at 1 here at GCS Ballpark, and we'll keep it locked right here in between innings. Dylan, I had a question before pregame for you.
Yes,
I told
you
you off the air.
Yes, you did.
So, but I will now fill in our audience watching on YouTube with this question. It has been noted that I've asked you this on the air in an interview one time before. Would you rather have, you're a pitcher, would you rather pitch a perfect game or get an unassisted triple play? And your answer was, as a pitcher, which I was not surprised by, you'd rather have a perfect game.
Rather throw the perfect game. The perfect game is something that's extremely hard to do. I took a perfect game into the 6th inning earlier this year, and I kept looking up at the scoreboard, and it's something that's really, really hard to do. I ended up losing it in the 7th. Something that's, as a pitcher, that's the ultimate goal, to throw a perfect game. The unassisted triple play is a really rare and cool thing, and it's great to get you out of an inning, but the perfect game is kind of the holy grail for a pitcher.
It really is. It's the holy grail for a lot of people in baseball, which leads into this question. In Major League Baseball, have there been more perfect games or unassisted triple plays?
There have been. I'm gonna,
or fewer rather. Let's reverse the question. Which is more rare? A perfect
I'm saying
game
that the unassisted triple play is the more rare play.
And do you know the numbers on those?
I do not know the numbers. I believe the amount of perfect games is in the upper 20s or lower 30s. I want to say, but I'm not for certain on that.
So I checked before, as the second inning begins right here. Is fouled back to the screen. Lynx Parks on the mound. Guido behind the plate. I went on to the internet, and the internet does its wonders. And I did. And I looked up the stats. Is this one just inside corner for a strike for Parks? 23 perfect games in MLB history. 15 unassisted triple plays.
So I was right
baseball.
then.
In Major League Baseball, is a chopper right back slowly to the pitcher. Parks turns and throws. The throw just a little off the mark. And at first base, Janousek had to be pulled off the bag.
Parks didn't set his feet on that one. He had more time than he thought. The runner didn't get a great jump out of the box after that chopper. He probably should have set his feet and thrown the ball, threw off the back foot, but nonetheless, that's going to be another runner for the Mighty Oaks.
Jacob Bedwell, the third baseman, aboard. And now Austin Morris, who made the play at second base to end the first inning up to the dish. So you have the 6, 7, and 8 spot now up for the Mighty Oaks. The 6th spot, Jason Bedwell aboard at first base. Base hit for him.
So now that's back-to-back innings that the Mighty Oaks have put their leadoff runner aboard. And that's something as a pitcher you want to try to avoid, because when you get that leadoff guy on, there's all sorts of possibilities with a sac bunt, a steal.
It's the 2-1 now for Parks. You know, Parks, despite giving up the 1 run in the first inning, he got 3 strikeouts, and that speaks for itself right there of how the first inning went for him. This one high and away.
And with Parks, the big thing for him, and it's been this way throughout his college career, is he has a lot of really, really good stuff as far as his pitches go and as far as stuff-wise go. He's got a lot of really good stuff as there's a walk, so now 2 aboard with nobody out. It's just a matter of, and obviously we see it right there, keeping the ball in the zone and putting it where he wants has been somewhat of an issue for Parks throughout the year and throughout his career. So for him, it's just a matter of throwing strikes. It's not a matter of the stuff. The stuff is there. It's just a matter of keeping things in the zone and letting his defense work. The Mighty Oaks try to bunt there, but it's taken wide.
Riviera up to the plate now. Riviera, the catcher for his squad. And now Parks has a little adversity here in the second inning. Well, both pitchers have faced a little adversity as this game's gone on. If this is any indication of what this doubleheader may be, we may have a lot of runs by the end of the day in this first, not only this first game, but maybe the second game as well.
We may be in for it, and right now the Mighty Oaks trying to play small ball. They're trying to get that bunt down, a failed bunt by Riviera there as Janousek let it take that extra bounce and roll foul. Trying to get that runner to third. Let's see how hard Janousek crashes. There he comes. Now one's bunting right back out to the mound. They're going to have a shot at 3. They might have a shot at a double play, and they do. The Lynx turn.
Hey.
The old 1-5-3 double play. So how about that? 2 quick outs on the 1-5-3. Runner moves up to second. So now 2 are down. And now we'll see Taylor.
You don't see every day right there.
The 1-5-3, that's a pretty rare double play. But it was executed perfectly there as the bunt was right back to Rob Parks, and Kellan Murray with plenty of time at third has a good arm at third. And like I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the Lynx have, the 8th best fielding percentage in the country, and they show it off right there.
Certainly so, as Parks over to Murray, over to Janousek for the 1-5-3. That's a pretty rare infield double play. This one inside corner for a strike.
And that's a pitch that's going to allow Rob Parks to have success if he can bear that fastball in on right-handed hitters, because his ball, it has a lot of percepted velocity, which means that the ball looks a lot harder than sometimes it actually is. So if he can get that ball in on people's hands, he's going to get a lot of ground outs.
Just talking about how might be a lot of offense, a lot of runs scored. You saw a pretty nice, nifty defensive play here as this one's going to the right side, rather, second base.
Nice play there by Collier. And that's going to end the inning. So after an inning and a half, the Lynx escaped that jam there with a pretty 1-5-3 double play, and then the ground out that's put away by Collier. And the Lynx escape with no runs scored. After 1.5 at GCS, we're tied 1-1.
So the bottom half of the second inning will go, still tied at 1 here. Davis still back on the mound, no activity in either bullpens thus far. Rather high numbers for both pitchers here in this game wears on. Just, yes, we're in the early stages, but pitch count not where you'd want to see after 1 inning for both pitchers.
Yeah,
2 now for
both guys have pretty high pitch totals through their first couple innings of work. Davis back out for his second inning. Parks with a high pitch count. He's had 2 walks already, including 3 strikeouts, and when you have those totals early, you're bound to have a high pitch count. But for the Lynx, hopefully they can get Parks through 5 or 6 innings. That would be the goal, and then hand things off to the bullpen.
So Andre Roberts, it's going to be 7-8-9 for the Lynx.
And this is
I finally got all my information written down.
Got all
I usually
your
have
info
this
now?
all pregame.
Yeah, you were kind of rushing before pregame, but now I see you got all your information. So
Well, we had to go live on the air
You're ready-
for
you're ready to
LBTV News, and that's something I was prepared for, but I was not anticipating walking in today. But now I have everything written down. I'm ready to call baseball. Oh, they got some Bobby's Frozen Custard on sale at the concession stand. This one's a liner out to right field. It's going to be a base hit for Andre Roberts. And the Lynx, once again, have that first base runner aboard. First batter aboard.
And Andre Roberts does that quite a bit. Maybe goes the opposite way better than anybody except Bo Collier on this team. We know Collier is the best at going the opposite way on the team, but Andre Roberts has shown a lot of flashes of doing that as well, and he's only a freshman, and he's played really, really well, brought up to varsity midway through the season, and he's really, really taken the starting right field job and turned in a lot of good performances. The best bunter in the starting lineup for the Lynx. He's had 5 bunt base hits on the year, and a lot of his swinging base hits have been to the right side, a lot of doubles down that right field line.
So Ford squared a bunt here. Darius Ford batting .241 this season. He bunts one high in the air, but foul. That was pretty high for a bunt, I should say.
Yeah, and that's been one of the Lynx' Achilles' heels is the sacrifice bunt. They've had a lot of trouble getting those down. So let's see if Ford is going to be called on to bunt 0-2 here if they're going to have him swinging away.
So Davis sets up on the stretch. Here's behind, takes the pitch, swing and a miss. And Ford is down on strikes. He foul tipped that, as a matter of fact, the umpire signals, but he took a hack there and is retired. So Austin Fleming now. And if I'm correct, this is the Lynx' first left-handed batter in this game.
Yes, it is. The only left-handed batter in the Lynx lineup. And Fleming, another guy who's a freshman. And there's a really good bunt by Fleming. Don't know if they're going to. They do, as the catcher got that a lot quicker than I anticipated. It was a good bunt right out there. So now the Lynx are going to have a runner in scoring position. That's Andre Roberts. And now it'll be the leadoff hitter, Kellan Murray.
Brings up the top. So Kellan Murray coming into the day. If I can find it here on my StatCaster. Coming into the day, .348 batting average. Only second best on the team.
And there goes Roberts for third. The ball drops, so he's going to get in there with a stolen bag, and he's 90 feet away. That's the go-ahead run.
Kellan Murray, the third baseman, took one high up there, almost the sweet chin music. Do you think that from Davis was a message for Davis's third baseman?
Umpire replacing a turf divot there, something you don't see very often. And Kellan Murray, one of the best Lynx hitters at putting the ball in play. Really, really, really tough with 2 strikes. Fouls a lot of pitches off, puts a lot of good balls in play. There's one off the glove of the catcher behind the plate.
Rivera had a tough time squeezing that one. The last one, too, he had a tough time with. But despite getting a throw on down the third.
Kellan Murray last year was first team all-conference over there at third base, so had a nice year last year and having a nice year this year as well.
Wind picking up again now, blowing a little bit toward home plate now as this first strike of the at-bat, 2-1. And this is a wind that's blowing from the east to the west. It's usually a west to east wind.
Favoring the left-handed hitter. Good take there by Kellan Murray on the inside.
Pretty good spot here for the batter, Murray, with a 3-1 count. Do you think he takes or swings here?
I think he takes. Pitch too soon for me to even tell. Kellan Murray's really disciplined. Really, like I said, a really good hitter with 2 strikes. So 3-1's obviously a really good hitter's count. But in that situation, if he doesn't get his exact pitch to drive, he's very comfortable with hitting with 2 strikes. So I'm not surprised by that 3-1 take there.
So Bo Collier up to bat his first time up in the first inning. He reached on a fielder's choice. Kellan Murray 1 for 1 today as he now gets to first base on base on balls. Bo Collier up to the dish. Takes strike one. Bo Collier also in 300 for the Lynx. 328 coming into the day. A number of Lynx players are batting above 300.
And this is a good spot.
One shy of double digits.
This is a good spot for Bo Collier with that wind blowing to right field. There goes Kellan Murray towards second base. They tried to stop and steal the throw home, and it goes wild. Andre Roberts gets home, and Kellan Murray advances up to second base. And that's a play that the Lynx actually run a lot, is the stop and steal, where you have the runners at first and third, and you have the runner at first with a fake steal stopping midway through second base, allowing the runner at third to come home and score. And that's a play that the Lynx have run with a lot of success this year, is they've got it down pat, and it works to perfection there again. And the Mighty Oaks don't even record an out on the play.
Andre Roberts slid in an awkward slide at home plate. He went shoulders deep as a slow grounder for Collier gets through the gap. Here comes the runner at home, and that's going to be cut off, so the Lynx will have a 2-run second inning here now, as Kellan Murray scores from second base.
The Lynx doing a good job of responding after the Mighty Oaks grabbed that run in the top of the first. They grab one of their own in the bottom half, and now two more here in the bottom half of the second. Take that 3-1 advantage, and now it's Colin Sockley. So that's Collier's first base hit of the day, and that's his second time on the base paths.
Unique perspective here as I saw Andre Roberts slide in. He kind of went, his shoulder kind of bit into the turf a little bit, and he went legs over. But
a little bit of it, and I think
slow to get up.
I think a lot of the reason for that awkward slide is the throw coming home kind of took the catcher into the base path of the into the way of the runner. So I think Andre was trying to avoid a tag there, so the awkward slide, but he went back and touched home plate. Not sure if he got it on the first attempt.
This one inside corner, strike number 2, and the umpire today been consistent with that inside corner. Something that the outside corner, he's usually let go for pitchers on either side of the plate, but that inside corner, especially if you're right-handed, he's been very consistent most of the day. Runner going on the pitch, liner foul down their third base line, and
Stockley ripped that one foul. He saw that one well.
That one goes into the picnic deck area here at GCS Ballpark. A picnic deck area out there in left field line. The only outfield seating here at GCS Ballpark, if you're not familiar with it, out in right field.
There goes Collier. Foul ball.
Staying alive here with an 0-2 count, Stockley. 1 for 1 today is Stockley with a base hit, and he was stranded at third base in the first inning. The 0-2 from Davis. Fastball.
It's a good pick there behind the plate. And Stockley, a guy like I mentioned earlier, with a lot of raw power, 6 homers on the year. So if he gets a ball in the air to the right side, a lot of that pure strength could come into play. Pickoff attempt there on Collier, nothing doing.
The Walls here at GCS Ballpark. 318 down the line in left field. 301 down the line in right field. At center field, it's 385, I believe. It used to be a sign out there in center field, but
a lot of interesting dimensions at GCS Ballpark is you have the high wall that ranges from left field all the way to about left center, and then that really, really short wall. That one's smashed by Colin Stockley.
Foul. And any kids out in the kid zone can go scavenge that ball.
And then that wall kind of drops off to a really, really low fence from right center all the way till the right field line, and then it goes up a little bit again there, right down in the right field corner. So some really interesting dimensions at GCS Ballpark.
Nobody out in that hot tub suite over there in right field.
Still not warm enough for the hot tub suite yet.
That's a foul ball.
I'm sure when those Grizzlies games are on come June and July, there will be people swimming out in that hot tub and watching some baseball. That's a good place to catch a ball game out there.
I'm sure there's some Lynx players that are, some pitchers especially, hey, it's our off day. I need to relax in the hot tub. They try to talk to Coach
I would be
Logan
lying
about
if I said I never thought about it. That one gets away. They'll have to throw to first.
Throw by Rivera. Good stretch by Whitland. The Stockley's good at bat there, spoiled off of a strikeout, and he's upset with himself, and rightfully so. He hung in there through 2 strikes for a while.
Lined a couple balls hard, but the Mighty Oaks do escape. However, the Lynx grab 2 runs, and they now lead at 3-1. Rob Parks will go back out for his 3rd inning of work here. Top of the 3rd, Lynx lead at 3-1. It's 1 run on 2 hits, no errors for the Mighty Oaks, and 3 runs on 5 hits, no errors for your Lynx.
Oh, we had a wild pitch, isn't that an error? I guess I don't put it on the board though.
Wild pitches on errors.
Due up for the Mighty Oaks would be the top of their order. Number 1, 2, 3, Noah Bowler. Devin France and Colton White due up. Bowler's first time up, got the base on balls, and a run scored for him. Working quickly, Parks the pitch here on 1-0, and now that one's in for a strike. So 1-1, and then again we see that inside corner being capitalized by both pitchers. Here is Parks again working quickly. Kind of jams the batter. Bauer there, and laying out, can't grab the ball, Stockley. It's a little dribbler into the shallow center field for a base hit.
And I know that ball wasn't hit very high or very hard, but again, the wind playing a factor there as that ball was ever so slightly out of the reach of Colin Sockley. The wind kind of taking it and tailing it away from him. Maybe perhaps on a different day he makes that play if the wind's not blowing as hard, but nonetheless that's going to be the 3rd runner aboard to lead off the inning for the Mighty Oaks.
Outside pitch there by Parks, just outside.
So 3 straight innings the Mighty Oaks have reached base with their first batter, and now Rob Parks, who's been in jams all afternoon to start this game, faces another one here early. Big lead over there at first. Pitches high and tight. 2-0.
Yeah, it looked like on that pitch, on that bat, that Bowner just got the handle part of the bat on and not much barrel and just floated up high, and the wind took it like you said.
And that's a frustrating one as a pitcher because you know you've executed your pitch and done your job, and it's just a little flare, and there's nothing to do, nothing the fielders can really do about that as Stockley laid out and gave it his all for it. But just one of those frustrating little bloop base hits that as a pitcher you get frustrated with when you execute and bad things still happen. But that's how baseball goes sometimes. There's another strike. He thought he had a walk, and that'll load things up 3-2.
Franz almost had the bat out of his hands on that one. He gets back in the box, and Parks has worked quickly.
He loves to work quick out there on the mound.
Swing and foul ball back to the screen. So it's still count remains at 3-2. And you know, as a batter, when I played, I hated that when pitchers work quickly. And I'd always step out of the box. I know pitchers are like, that's my strike zone. Batters are like, no, that's mine.
I love working quick.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
So that's Parks' 4th strikeout on the day. And real quick, I know we were just talking about it. One of the advantages to working quick like that, other than keeping the batter in the box and keeping them out of their rhythm, not allowing them to catch their breath, your fielders also stay in the game. Any fielder, any position player is going to tell you that their biggest pet peeve with a pitcher is working slow and walking batters. So if you can stay in the strike zone and work quickly, your fielders love playing behind you.
Here he goes again, the 1-0. That's across the plate for strike 1.
And especially if you're a pitcher and you start rolling and you're throwing strikes, you want to work quickly because when you're in that zone, that's a good feeling, and you want to just get right back to it after the next pitch. So Parks, after getting that strikeout, is feeling confident, and he's getting back up there quickly, and he's quickly ahead here 0-2 with one away, a runner at first.
Colton White, his first time up, also struck out. He struck out looking. Devin France as well, the last batter. He's 0-2 with 2 strikeouts now. So the heart of the order you're seeing here, Parks execute with strikeouts here. Can he do it again? As this one's a curveball up high and away.
And that looked like a curveball he just didn't really pull down on. Kind of arm was dragging late behind. Let's see if they go to it again or if they go to that. It looks like they're going to go to that fastball inside. Yep, they do. Fouls it off.
Fouled off.
Looked like he fouled that off the upper thigh there. And that's a pitch where Parks needs to stay at because that ball right there is going to produce a double play here if he can get it in there. Let's see where Guido sets up now. They set up outside corner. See if they go back to the breaking ball. Fastball in high and tight. He missed a spot. And that loads it up 3-2.
Parks has been checking over that runner at first base. The runner, Boner.
Got a pretty sizable lead over there at first.
Fouled the screen. And so the full count from Parks. Just outside, ball 4.
So that's Parks' third walk on the day. He also has 4 Ks.
See, you don't need a book. You memorize all this. See, I look down, I'm looking, is that 1, 2, 3 walks? And you've already got it.
I know my guys.
This one's a liner to right field. Creeping in, Roberts makes the grab. If he throws to second base, they'll double up. And it looks like that's what they'll do. Boner had a great jump off the line drive, but didn't think that ball was going to carry as well as it did. And Roberts makes the snag, and they get the throw on over to second for the double play.
And you saw with that one, the line drive that carried a little bit. And that's another thing with that wind coming into play, and it's something we've talked about all broadcast long. With that wind coming into play, that ball carried just a little bit further than normally it would have, and Andre Roberts was able to make a play. A good jump, like you said, at second. He anticipated that ball getting down, hung up just long enough, and the Lynx get a double play to escape that jam. So Rob Parks works his way out of the third inning. That's his third jam that he's worked out of. All 3 innings he's had a runner in scoring position, and he works out of it again there. So he's had to work through some trouble, but only 1 run on the scoreboard, and the Lynx still hold that 3-1 advantage.
Certainly has, and now we move to the middle half of the innings. The middle half is when my Little League coach told me I played my best baseball.
It's after your first at bat. You've seen the pitcher already. You come up that second time through. You have a better look at the pitcher.
I think you missed my joke right there.
I was trying to give you a compliment.
I appreciate it.
That way you didn't feel as bad about how you played when you were younger. Just take the compliment. I'm trying to help you out there.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. So the Lynx will have a chance to tack on some more here in the bottom half of the third inning. And what, oddly enough, as you said, despite the number of runs on the board, this game has been moving a little bit faster than what the score may indicate. It's the fast pace of your pitcher Parks going on here.
He does have a fast pace, and Davis not working too badly either. A lot of base runners, though. A lot of traffic on the bases for both the Lynx and the Mighty Oaks. The Oaks only able to push across 1 run thus far. Your Lynx able to get 3 across. They got 1 in the first, and Janousek crushes that one out to left, but with the wind blowing to right, that has no shot.
Ford, excuse me, that's not Ford. That's Boner back there making the grab out there in left field.
Janousek tagged that one well, but it was right to the left fielder, so that's 1 away, and now it's the designated hitter, C.J. Norman. Norman was a strikeout victim in his first at bat. And he'll try again here with 1 away, nobody aboard. Bottom half of the third. First pitch, strike 1.
No, I think I can hear Tommy. I hear wind, but I don't hear actual voices.
Am I reading that back correctly? Is he using an old TPX? Louisville Slugger?
That is one of the older models, yeah.
Holy cow.
We give him a lot of grief about it all the time. That bat sounds pretty broken, but he insists it's not. And he's got 3 bombs on the year, and he had a really, really good series last weekend with a ton of base hits. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess.
I guess so. It's 1-2 now. We'll see how it comes in to help with him there. As the outside corner not been favorable for either pitcher today. It's not favorable there for Davis.
And I'll tell you what, that's a really, really good take by C.J. Norman. That was a sharp breaking ball.
The liner right off the bat. Diving White makes the grab on over to his offhand side.
That's a good play there by White at short.
It's a hard hit ball there by C.J. Norman. The bat showed no crack there.
So that's 2 hard hit balls this inning. Janousek laced one to left, and C.J. Norman lining that one to the shortstop. Let's see if Guido can have another hard hit ball and find a hole here.
Guido grounded out to second base his first trip around. There's an outside corner pitch called for a strike.
And that one looked a little bit further out than a lot of these, but he got the strike call there.
Sure did. I agree up here in the broadcast booth. Swing and a miss right there quickly. Strike 2. I need to get a stopwatch on between pitches here, because what is this, about 12
fast.
seconds right there between this one and that one? A grounder back to the pitcher Davis. The throw on over. Wilton had to stretch out a little bit for that one, but made the grab nonetheless, and we're going to the 4th. We need a stopwatch.
We do. They're working really quick.
They are certainly doing that.
Both Parks and Davis working really, really quickly between pitches, and I'm sure both their defenses are loving that. That was the first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game for either side.
It certainly was, and we go to the 4th now for the Oaks. They'll have 5, 6, and 7 up to the dish. That'll be Tyler Shamblin, the designated hitter who struck out last time, coming up to the plate here. And on over to my right, I have a young man sitting next to me, A.J. Porter. How are you doing, A.J.?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Doing good. You're part of this broadcasting class you like to be a part of. What is one thing that you like being here at the ballpark this afternoon? You can take it from me. It's fine.
We're just going to go ahead and take it. Might as well just go ahead and take it then.
As well.
All right. You know what, man? It's an absolutely beautiful afternoon out here. I've always kind of liked being out here at GCS. It's only my second time out here, but one kind of the cool things, obviously, it's a professional ballpark, so I think that's really cool. And even one thing that could be a very good thing for Lindenwood recruiting moving forward is the fact that they play at a professional ballpark. It's just a nice day.
Semi-pro ballpark, indeed. I got to give you a little bit of a hard time here, AJ. I'm seeing you talk about how great of a day it is, a great baseball game, and here you are watching golf on your phone.
You do know it's Masters Week.
I do know it is Masters Week.
Yep.
So, and it is the first day, if I'm correct, of competition.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow's the first day. Yeah, it's par 3 contest. But I mean, when it's Masters Week, it's Masters Week. Any golf fans out there will understand what's going on whenever it's Masters Week. It's kind of one of those things that everything generally tends to stop, and time kind of seems to stop in the golf world. It's the Masters,
it's
man.
It's the Masters, always at Augusta and Georgia.
Yep.
Most beautiful courses in the nation, maybe even the world, as this one's a swing and a miss for strike 2, 1 and 2. I had to give you a little bit of grief.
I of course fully understand that.
It's all good though.
We're trying to do a bit of mix of both here and there, but
why not? You're a big golf guy.
Oh yeah.
You dream to go pro. This one's a fly ball, shallow right field. The second baseman over there makes the grab. Collier does a good job.
Yeah,
that Bermuda Triangle area of where balls potentially, if they're hit just the right way, in this case it was not. They have a chance to be a base hit, but not there. But as Collier did a good job.
Those shallow fly balls are always so tricky to field, especially on a day like this, whenever it is so windy, the ball just gets flying around. I mean, it's very tricky to field those.
I'll hand it on over back to you. You can still
arguing over the mics here. Sean Ditt's going to take a little break. I'm joined by AJ over here. As Rob Parks has a 2-1 count here. That one's lifted high and deep into center field. Fleming has a beat on it. That should be the second out, and it is. They're 2 away.
Man, you can really see by the way he was chasing that how much the wind was truly affecting that. That ball was moving.
He had that double in the first inning in mind, the ball that split the gap that went over his head. He had that in mind. You saw his first couple steps were back, and then he saw that ball breaking in, so he had to take a few steps in to make that play. So you have to adjust for the infielders, not so much, but for the outfielders, you really, really, really have to know what the wind is doing on every inning, every pitch, because we've seen it a lot here at GCS Park. There's a lot of flat ground out here, so it becomes a wind tunnel of sorts when you play, and the wind likes to change directions a lot during the game.
Yeah.
So, you know, when the game starts, it could be blowing out to right, and then by the 5th inning, it could be blowing out to left. So a lot of wind changes, but we've seen it blowing extremely heavy out to right for the first couple of innings.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things you have to be conscientious of and make sure you're being aware of.
That one's ripped foul down the left field line. And AJ, you said this is your only your second time out here.
Yeah, it's only my second time being here.
Only your second time out here, GCS Park, and you mentioned it's good for Lindenwood to have this beautiful ballpark to play at. That one's lifted high in the air. Collier drifting back. Roberts coming in. Who wants it? Collier makes a call, and he makes a catch. Collides with Roberts there. Everybody looks okay. Collier makes the play, and that's the first 1-2-3 inning for Parks. So that'll do well for his pitch count.
That was near a disaster there. That's one of those deals where you have to be calling that, have to be communicating with the teammate. I guess they did that there, but that is nearly a disaster play.
And something that's funny about that, a little backstory, Collier loves to get those fly ball putouts. He take almost any ball that's hit in the air in the infield, he's calling for.
He's just calling it, yeah.
He calls for almost everything out there, and that generally that ball hit right there is the outfielder's ball because they have a better vantage point, a better angle than the backpedaling infielder. But Collier always selfish with the putouts. He wants those putouts, so he makes the play there.
I mean, if you're catching them, you might as well.
He does.
It's one of those things that you always see those kind of bloopers on ESPN or SportsCenter whenever two guys are running into each other, and then then you put your pitcher in a bit of a bind, which can, isn't always a good thing, obviously. So.
Absolutely.
Let's see if this 3-mic setup here happens. I got this mic.
Check in. We're testing the mic. Can we hear it? Can we hear it?
Are we all on? Are we all on air? Did we get all three of us on here?
We got an engineer. Right here,
we got to engineer this thing. Go ahead and talk, AJ.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and test here, testing the 3-mic setup. Well, it would appear as though the 3-mic setup was working out all right. Then,
just give me
Thank you, Chris Sabo. The heads up on that one. So Andre Roberts will now come to the dish here.
And something that AJ mentioned that I want to talk about, talked about GCS and being really good for Lindenwood. Coach Johnson says that it's the best recruiting tool possible for our program is when you can tell them about our program if you got a high school kid or a transfer student that's looking to come in, and you can tell them about the program and this and that and what they do. But I mean, when you bring guys out here on their recruiting trips and let them see GCS Park and let them see a practice as Roberts fouls away a bunt attempt.
That was nearly a very good bunt there.
Yeah, and he has a lot of those this year. 5 bunt base hits on the season. Tried to lay one down there, but when you bring a prospective player here and let them see the ballpark and let them see a practice, I know for a lot of guys that's where they kind of fall in love with things.
Yeah,
and say,
of course.
Okay, I'm coming to Lindenwood. So it's a great recruiting tool to have, and when you can put logos on the dugouts like we have here and get some signage out here and some advertising, it just looks really good. And in my opinion, as Roberts goes down on the strikeout looking, for at least NAI standards, there's no better place to play in the country.
Yeah, it's absolutely
right
absolutely brilliant. Now, let me ask you this: how much different is it playing on? Obviously it's a turf infield, and everything's turf as opposed to playing on actual grass and actual dirt. Is it? I mean, are the funny bounces gone where you can get short hopped? And is that gone? Or
it's extremely different when you play on turf. You know what you're going to get. You know that the hops are going to be steady. You know there's not going to be any tricky rocks in your way that kick the ball up. But when we go on the road a lot and we have to play at other dirt fields and other grass fields, you see a lot. You have to see if the grass is going to play slow or fast depending on how it's cut. You have to see how many rocks are on the infield, and if as Ward's hit by the pitch and he'll trot on down to first, you have to see how the lip of the infield is going to play, if a ball is going to kick off and bounce a certain way. So that's something that a lot of the fielders go out and look at really early when we go on the road, is what the other fields are going to do, because here you get perfect bounces almost every time.
Okay.
And a lot of that plays into the fact that the Lynx are a very, very good defensive team. When you play all your home games here at GCS on a turf field,
perfect.
you get a lot of good bounces.
Well, how are they as a road team? That's the question. Are they a pretty good road team? I feel like that could honestly almost be, it's obviously a very big home field advantage, but it could also be a disadvantage. If you're playing here all the time, obviously it's a brilliant field, perfectly manicured, but whenever you go on the road, if you're having to deal with these hops that you're not used to, your reflexes might not quite be there.
AJ Porter doing his research.
And that's something that a lot of guys experience on the road, and we've seen that on the road. We've had definitely a few times where a couple tricky bounces have eaten up some guys, and we've had a couple errors here and there on the road. But for the most part, I mean, these guys on the infield are really, really solid defensively.
They look very solid.
They've played really, really well all season defensively. So I mean, there's a little bit of difference, but these guys are good. They've got quick reactions, good arms, good hands. Now we see Austin Fleming, the freshman center fielder, up to the plate with one away. There goes Darius Ford. It was a hit and run.
Better get down.
Second, and he is going to be out.
Darius Ford, a good attempt there to steal second, but a good throw and a double from the catcher Riviera. He had a double pump on that one. He still got the throw on over to second base rather. A good tag by the shortstop White as well. So,
and with a 1-1 count, that was a classic hit and run count. You saw the wild swing from Fleming there. That was a designed hit and run, a pitch that he really couldn't get any stick on, so he kind of left Ford hung out to dry there at second base, and he's thrown out on the steal attempt.
Certainly so. It's now 1-2 with 2 outs now for Fleming.
Yes, Ford must have been feeling all right after being hit by that pitch, huh? If he's already running like that.
He loves stealing bags. He loves taking off for second. So yeah, it looked like the legs were feeling okay.
Can't blame him.
You gotta feel as though as a base runner or batter, as the 2-2 is being delivered here, a liner to the shortstop White. Throw on
just in time.
Just in time. You gotta feel as though if you gotta have a mentality. If you're getting on base, I'm gonna go score. That's what I'm feeling
absolutely.
Like. So if you get hit by a pitch, it's not the worst thing in the world. But
and we've got a lot of guys that are very aggressive, and we're also top 15 in the country in stolen bases as well. We're a very, very run-heavy team. A lot of our guys are super, super aggressive on the bases. Bo Collier, Colin Sockley, Austin Fleming, Darius Ford, Andre Roberts, all those guys have a lot of steals, and they're super, super aggressive. When they get on base, they want to take the next one, and they want to put the hitter in a better situation to pick up RBIs and to score runs. And even a guy who's not as fast like Kellan Murray, still a very, very aggressive and very smart base runner. A guy that can, if you can read pitchers and read their move correctly, you can get steals even if you're not the fastest guy in the world. And that's something that we really preach here a lot is being aggressive on the base paths and taking those extra bases, because when you don't have a team that hits for extreme power, you have to manufacture runs, and you have to steal bases and do the little things like that. So that's something that we preach a lot, is being aggressive.
We've already seen it with the crazy trick play that they did there with the double run that took them home and a few stolen bases. I mean, it obviously they're a gritty team, and you gotta have a lot of respect for a gritty team that just goes out there and gets it done. And generally, those teams can be teams that win championships because whenever adversity comes on, they're gonna know how to react.
What running on the base pass does is it creates, as that ball's lined in center field, that'll be a leadoff single there. What you see a lot with aggressive teams is when you bunt and when you steal and when you hit and run and you make things happen, the small things happen like that, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense when they have to worry about, is this guy at first going to steal? Is this guy going to bunt? Where are we lining up? Where's the throw going? Am I going to be able to throw this guy out? That puts a lot of pressure on a defense, and when you put pressure on defenses like that, a lot of times they fold, make errors, throw the ball away, and that's how teams like that win ball games, is when you put pressure on the defense. There's a strike from Parks.
Brandon Taylor up to the dish.
Taylor was going to squirt a bunt.
But
what is that now? The third inning in a row that the leadoff hitter has got on base?
Last inning, Rob Parks had the 1-2-3, but the 3 innings prior.
Okay.
Yes.
He did have the leadoff runner aboard, and the leadoff runner again on board for the Mighty Oaks.
So there is some baseball action right now at some day games. 2 scheduled. One isn't a weather delay. That would be the Rays and the White Sox in Chicago. The Indians and the Tigers, the bottom of the 6th, 3-1 Tigers against the Cleveland Indians. But yeah, one thing that jumps out at me was the scheduled starters for the Rays and White Sox game, which is now on a weather delay. You have Glasnow, the right-handed pitcher, 2-0 with an ERA of .82 versus Lopez, an ERA of 10.
And Glasnow's a guy that the Rays picked up from the Pirates, a young arm that the Pirates really didn't want to give away, but they did so in a trade. And Glasnow's a really young pitcher that has a lot of really great stuff, so it doesn't absolutely surprise me as Park picks up his 5th strikeout there. Got him looking.
Caught him looking, yeah.
There you go.
Away.
As the old White Sox broadcaster would say. Here you go.
Old Hawk Harrelson.
Hawk Harrelson.
It's a shame you can't watch White Sox games and hear that call this year.
Yes, as he retired last year.
Good off-speed pitch from Parks. Probably
Top of the order now for the Mighty Oaks. Bogner, who is 1 for 1 today, getting on base both times at both plate appearances via walk and run scored. The only run scored here for the Mighty Oaks. This one's fouled just above the dugout. In good hands.
Brett Bunzelmeyer making the catch down there in the Lynx dugout.
There is a netting above the dugout, as most ballparks have become accustomed to now, having.
And I think you're seeing a trend with that as players are only getting bigger, faster, stronger, and guys are hitting balls harder and harder. When, I mean, you have Giancarlo Stanton hitting balls over 120 miles an hour, you have to protect fans that are sitting really, really close. So a lot of teams have that extended nettings down the side. And if you look down the left field line here at GCS, that's all brand new netting to protect fans over there. As baseball, I know it comes with the territory of coming to a baseball game that there is that risk of foul balls, but there are steps being taken to try and take down the injury risk for fans that are just coming to watch a ball game. It's Kellan Murray, 5, 4, 3. The Lynx turn a double play. That's their second of the day.
Yeah, it's their third of the day. I finally got one on you.
There you go. You got one on me. That's the third double play. You are correct. I forgot about the Andre Roberts double up. The third double play for the Lynx on the day, and that gets him out of another jam. So the leadoff base hit. But Rob Parks rolls the double play and picks up a strikeout. He has 5 on the day, and he escapes. So the Lynx still holding that 3-1 advantage as we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning.
What do you think is causing this emergence? So in baseball, for example, everyone's getting bigger, faster, stronger, and everyone just seems to be ripping it more than what they ever had before. In golf, the same thing is happening. In basketball, the same thing is happening. Look at Zion Williamson. What is going on?
I'll give you an idea, and I think it's the hormones that they're putting in chicken.
I actually would agree with that. No, I don't actually think that's too far off. I think a lot of the food, a lot of the hormones, a lot of the different pharmaceuticals that are going into the foods that we eat are producing, the average height in America has obviously gone up over the last 20 years. People are getting bigger, faster, stronger. I mean, you see it in every single sport. Golf, for example, has completely been transcended in the last 20 years.
You could also make the argument as well, because the baseball's gone on for so many years now, the 19th century MLB. They never had the nettings down the sides, and maybe I'm old school in that regard. I don't like seeing the nettings down the side. I want to see fans have a chance to get a foul ball, or because that's what you come to baseball for. Is when I was a kid, you go to baseball games to get the foul ball. Now you take that away with the nettings down the side. But as well as you look at days years ago, the home run record is held by Mickey Mantle. He hit one at 585 feet. Today, that's almost unheard of.
Absolutely.
And I mean, maybe players are hitting them harder. Maybe they aren't. I mean, players have always been hitting balls hard for years.
And I think why we see the trend of guys getting so much bigger, faster, and stronger, I think it's information. I think information has been the key with the technology that we have and the amount of information that's available to everybody. When you know what the best possible pre-workouts are, when you know the best possible lifting programs, when you know the best possible technology to fix your swing and to hit, there's different technologies in baseball that can help you track your swing path to hit the ball harder and faster and more on a line. I think there is so much information available now that guys are taking advantage of that and using everything from a workout standpoint, a nutrition standpoint, and a technical swing aspect, that there's just so much information available to use that guys are taking it to their fullest advantage and upping their game to unreal levels.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with that. You bring up kind of an interesting point, Sean, is, it'd be interesting to go back to that Mickey Mantle ball and see what kind of ball speed he had back then. It could simply be one of those things that we weren't measuring ball speed back then, and maybe, it's even gone down.
Kellan Murray draws
it'd be kind of
walk
interesting
here to start the bottom half of the 5th. Now we'll see Bo Collier.
It's very interesting. that you say that. And he did. I'm trying to remember what field he did that on. I believe it was the old New York Giants stadium, not Polo Grounds. No, not the Dodgers, not the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Ebbets Field?
Ebbets Field. I believe it was Ebbets Field where he hit that home run. Or it might have been Tiger Stadium, old Tiger Stadium in Detroit. I saw it on Twitter the other day that he holds that record. It's a Guinness World Record, as a matter of fact, for longest home run.
That ball smothered in the dirt by Riviera. And now it looks like we're going to get some action down in the Mighty Oaks pen as a couple of arms go down there to try and get loose after the leadoff walk. So we'll see our first bullpen action of the day.
Davis has had some trouble, but he's bounced back very nicely. 1, 2, 3, the last 2 innings for him.
Another one in the dirt there.
That one was in the dirt. 2-1 the count. There's something you bring up the advanced stats here, AJ. As I know you're a golf guy, and we'll get into golf here in just a bit again, because there's a lot going on in the sports world right now. As a foul ball goes out to the bleachers out in right field. But I saw this. We saw the highlight of one of the great all-time sports plays, or should I say, one of the not great all-time sports plays happened last night in St. Louis with Marcell Ozuna, with getting his foot caught in the bleachers. Somebody said on the statistics have evolved so much that somebody said that sabermetrics, I don't know, but he had a 95% probability of catching that ball. That ball had a 95% catching ability, and I think to myself when I heard that is,
Collier's hit by the pitch there.
Hit by pitch.
So a walk and a hit by pitch is how this inning starts, and now to be Colin Sockley with a runner in scoring position.
I ask myself, how on earth do you judge a probability of a ball being catched? Like, what goes into that? What is it? The time of day, the speed of the ball, like all these things that advanced stats.
I'd imagine. Simple answer: yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I imagine it's just it's an algorithm.
Into a pot and just say, here's what we got.
Baseball metrics are so advanced nowadays that we a lot of times when you watch baseball games, you see the StatCast by Amazon Web Services. They take into account where the fielder starts, where they project that the ball's going to land, the distance they have to cover, the efficiency and the straightest way possible that they take their route to that baseball. And that's where route efficiency comes in when you look at where the ball lands and where the fielder starts. If they take the most direct line to the ball, they calculate route efficiency, calculate how high the ball is hit, if the wind's blowing. I mean, all these different factors. And it's amazing to look at those stats because it's so interesting. You bring up a good point. How do they measure these things? It's kind of incredible, actually, how far those advanced metrics have come.
I'm so old school that I really... somebody brings up the 95%.
I'm old school, too, but it's interesting.
It is interesting.
It's interesting.
At the same time, it's like, why? There's so many things I can factor into. Like, Marcell Ozuna, he probably should have caught that ball. I can all make that argument.
I can tell you that route efficiency was probably under 10%.
Probably. The same goes true as I know that over the weekend, Anthony Salter of 101 ESPN brought this up on the radio this morning on Twitter that that 95% probability was in fact where he should have caught that. But at the same time, as a fielder, the Busch Stadium over the weekend had new lights installed, and that could wear on an outfielder. Not saying that was the reason why he didn't make the catch, but we're going to see that highlight for years. And it's a good thing that the Cardinals did win that game. It didn't really
They didn't score off of it. It didn't affect the outcome. It's just one of those funny bloopers we'll see all year long.
It's a funny blooper that we'll see. It didn't really affect anything other than stat columns for Myers or the pitcher, the batter, or
so Stockley,
for Ozuna himself. But
Stockley takes that one inside, and the Lynx have something cooking here. Nobody out. Kellan Murray drew the walk to start the inning. Then Bo Collier was hit on the elbow with a pitch. And now Stockley with a 3-0 count. Matthew Janousek waits on deck. He already has a base hit on the day. There's strike one. He also has an RBI. That tied the game at 1.
I got to imagine that Stockley's taking here.
3-1. He's a pretty aggressive hitter. I think we might see a swing if he gets something good to hit. And we do.
That ball is foul.
Stockley is always looking to do hard damage up there at the plate. 3-1, you know he's up there salivating if anything's close. And he just got a piece of that one, fouling it away. It was a good pitch to hit, but now it runs full 3-2. And Stockley's, that one's going to get down into the corner. That's going to score a run, maybe two. And it hops out of play, so that's going to be a ground rule double that scores a run. Kellan Murray's going to come across. Collier moves up to third, and Stockley up to second with the ground rule double. And the Lynx extend their lead. It's now a 4-1 ball game. Still nobody away, and here comes Matthew Janousek.
Bit unfortunate that was a ground rule double there. That could have easily bounced around in that corner and scored two at least.
Yeah,
he may got a stand-up triple out of that.
Break for the Mighty Oaks there as that ball hopped out. And now I think we're going to see our first pitching change of the day. So Davis is going to exit.
For 15 out there warming up here. I'll get you that name. I'll get you that name with that number here. And just Jesse Reed. I believe that's the number I saw out there warming up. Jesse Reed coming into pitch.
Let me ask you this, Dylan. So with all the different stats and whatever else, the information with the batting, one of the issues we run into with golf is, and I feel it's very similar in the baseball swing, is you can be looking at all these different angles, like, you know, where how he's lagging the bat, or where his chest is 14 degrees open, or whatever else. I feel like sometimes it's almost gone too far to where the chicken is coming before the egg. You know, it's instead of their lower body is actually what's driving it, as opposed to, okay, you got to be trying to get your bat in a particular position or whatever else, and then you're all in your head, and it can almost hurt your game.
And you bring up a really interesting point there. Is baseball has this extreme focus on one particular stat now, and it's been the last 3 or 4 years that it's come to the forefront, and that's launch angle. Launch angle is
I was going to say WAR.
Launch angle is probably the most focused and looked at stat or tracked metric, if you will, in baseball in the last 3-4 years, as guys are trying to lift the baseball. With guys hitting baseballs harder, they're trying to lift the baseball and trying to hit doubles and home runs, because famously, as Josh Donaldson said, the balls that, old school baseball teaches you, hit the ball on the ground and run it out. Well, Josh Donaldson, the third baseman for the Atlanta Braves, famously a couple years ago said, those things those baseballs that you hit hard on the ground, those are called outs. He said, I get paid to hit the ball in the air. I get paid to hit doubles. I get paid to hit home runs. That's where runs come from. That's where RBIs come from. And that's where real damage is done. So you see a huge focus. And even at the college level, guys are starting to really buy into launch angle and trying to lift the baseball. And for some guys, it kind of gets into their head, and they're swinging too upwards, and they're getting their swings out of whack. So it's about you have to keep a balance. And I'm sure it's that way in golf. The same when your swing gets out of whack, it's about keeping a balance of doing things naturally, but also looking to fix and tweak certain things.
Right.
And it's the same way with a baseball swing. There are certain things that, yes, you can tweak to make your swing better, but if you go too far away from your natural swing, you're going to get in your head, and the results are going to show it as well.
It's very interesting that is happening in baseball, because there is a massive shift right now in the world of golf from, getting out there and hitting fairways and playing it safe and doing everything else, to literally just getting up there and absolutely smashing it out there, basically as hard as you can, and going to find it. I mean, that's interesting that, baseball is shifting away from getting it on the ground and getting it, safe, and so is golf kind of at the same time. It's kind of an interesting parallel that maybe not many people are talking about.
Absolutely. So we're back in action here. The new pitcher, Reed, takes over for Davis, a left-handed pitcher coming on here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. The infield for the Mighty Oaks is drawn in, trying to cut off a run at the plate. Collier's at third and Stockley at second. The 1-0. Janousek taps that one out in front of the plate. Collier's going to go home. First baseman had trouble picking it up, so they're just going to get Janousek out at first, and that's going to be an RBI ground out for Matthew Janousek. A lucky break there for the Lynx, as Collier took off for home immediately, and the first baseman had some trouble getting out of the webbing. So now it's a 5-1 Lynx lead, and now C.J. Norman has a chance to drive in an RBI with a runner at third and only one away.
He feels that cleanly. It's a play at the plate, and it was a slow roller, and he tried to pick it up with his glove hand. And I believe that was the issue right there. If he picks it up with the bare hand, he gets that throw home. We have a close play at the plate.
So now C.J. Norman, if he can get a ball airborne, that'll be another run for the Lynx. They can extend this lead even further. And he does just that, gets one airborne, but that's going to drift foul.
Yeah, Wynn's going to take that one to the seats. Talking about golf, we're talking about baseball. We're in a great time of year right now. College basketball just wrapped up. You had the March Madness end on Monday. You have the NBA playoffs starting today, as well as the NHL playoffs, and you got the football starting to kick off around the draft time, or
I think this is the best time for sports. When March Madness is just, and I love March Madness. So this is a good time of the year. You have March Madness. You have the Masters.
You got the Masters. I was about to say that.
You have baseball starting back up with opening day and all that stuff, and the weather's starting to heat up again, and it's starting to be really nice out. So I think this is just a really, really great time for sports. Like you said, the NHL playoffs are getting ready to start. The NBA playoffs are going to start next week, or actually, I think they're starting this week. So a lot of there's a chopper. I don't know if that's going to score another run. Bobble by the shortstop. Whitey throws on to first to get the out. 2 away.
Held the runner over there at third base. He checked the runner, so not able to advance. And so that's
But yeah, just a really, really great time for sports right now. A lot going on with warm weather.
We say goodbye to AJ Porter now. Unfortunately, bye AJ. We now welcome Drew Ryberg, who is part of LBTV News, and
a little bit, yeah.
He's on LBTV News and part of the camera crew here this afternoon.
Yep.
Now he gets time to be up here in the broadcast booth and talk to you fine people that are watching here on LBTV.
You've been enjoying the game so far?
Oh yeah, it's been a great game. I've never seen a Lynx baseball game before, actually, and it's a lot better than I thought it would be. Actually, it's been really entertaining.
A lot of action. Your Lynx are up by a score of 5-1 here as we draw late in this game. Drew Guido smashes one to left, but that wind just absolutely killing the ball out there in left. That ball was smoked, but it just dies out there in the outfield. So that's going to be the third out. The Lynx do strand a runner at third. However, they pick up 2 more, extend this lead to a 5-1 ball game as we head to the top of the 6th. And it looks like Rob Parks is going to come back out for his 6th inning of work. Parks has worked out of trouble all day long, just allowing the 1 run back in the first inning. He's danced out of danger plenty of times today, and he'll be asked to do it one more time. And it looks like the freshman Drew Toombs is down in the bullpen getting loose, as he may be called upon to close this game out in the 7th.
Drew Ryberg with us here in the broadcast booth. You are directing a student-run 1X, full 1X play this weekend.
Yes.
I know I'm in a play with you called The Pink Bedroom, but the overall thing, the overall production, what is that called?
It's being called People in Places.
People in Places
is the overall performance, and there's 5 different directors. All of us in the major of theater right now each of us are directing a show under the guidance of Marcia Parker. So it's a lot of fun. We're learning a lot of, I'm learning like a different angle to look at theater and acting from, and everyone else is also. So it's very interesting.
So Drew, tell me, how long did it take you guys to prepare for this 1-act play? How long did it take to hammer out giving out parts and then rehearsals and all that stuff?
About a month and a half for everything. We've been rehearsing for about a month, I would say.
Wow. Put me on the spot here. I'm in Drew's show.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been about a month and a half of work, but we've been working all semester, picking it out, doing all the work, putting in some design work for the posters and stuff like that, getting the auditions, getting that planned out and scheduling everything, and it's been a long time, so it's been a lot of work.
Devin Franz up to the dish, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, both times swinging, trying to avenge himself on that regard. 1-1 in for a strike just on the outside corner. Once again, Parks working quickly. We still have not gotten this stopwatches. That's a 3rd strikeout for Devin Franz.
Did not look too happy about it.
The 6th K on the day for Rob Parks, and that might have been his best breaking ball of the day. That one had some nice sharp movement.
Very well might have been. So Drew, what is your show? I know what your show is, but the listeners at home don't. It's a grounder to shortstop Stockley thrown out at first base. What is your show about for the viewers back home? What is your show about? What are some other shows that are?
My show specifically.
In the grand show.
Yeah, my show specifically is it's about a woman who finds out that her lover is basically 2-timing her, and that she finds out that he is married and is living this other life, And then a couple of the other shows, there's Stuck, which is...
that one's ripped out to left field. Darius Ford underneath
There's another one that just...
And he makes the play, so Park escapes.
Very nice
Here
catch.
in the 6th inning with a 1-2-3 inning, he's looked good as of late, and he gets through the 6th. Bottom half of the 6th, we go 5-1. Drew, you were just telling us about
Stuck.
what your play was about.
It's all right.
No, it's all right.
Interrupted by the play there.
No, yeah, it was. Yeah, it happens. No, Stuck is. That's another show. Is being directed by Andrea Kostavinovich. It's about a woman who gets stuck in an elevator on the way to a job interview. It's starring Shania Vialba, LBTV's own, and another show will be. So Tell Me About This Guy, directed by Cynthia Martinez, which will be about like two girls going out to a bar and talking about one of their new boyfriends. So just some new, different kinds of shows about different kinds of people, different situations. It's all over the place. It'll be really interesting. There's something for everybody.
So those shows will be something to look forward to. And as we mentioned, there will be shows on Friday and Saturday, both at 7 o'clock. So
7:30.
7:30.
Yes. But doors open at 7.
Doors open at 7, so be sure to come check those out in the Lynx Auditorium.
Yeah. There'll definitely be some good music playing at 7 o'clock, though, if you want to come and check out some good music. So
Absolutely.
Got a new pitcher now for the Mighty Oaks is Austin Kelly.
What's the admission cost to get into these?
It's free. It's free.
So even more reason for you guys to go out and check out those plays.
That's for Lindenwood students, though.
It's free for everybody. This show is free for everybody. But we will be accepting donations, though. So if you have some extra money on you and you want to, you're feeling generous, that's always welcome.
Be sure to donate to the theater department, as they always do a good job. They work hard. Be sure to come check them out. They do a lot of good stuff. I know Drew Rydberg invests a lot in our theater department. And does a lot of good stuff with those shows, so we look forward to seeing those this upcoming weekend. Be sure to check those out.
Austin Kelly, the new pitcher now for the Mighty Oaks, it looks like Coach Logan of the Lindenwood Lynx is going to make some changes of his own. He went to the umpire to give some.
Looks like both Dalton Turner and Cody Bowser are going to pinch hit and get at bats here late in this game as the Lynx hold the 5-1 comfortable lead. So going to get some guys some ABs here late. But for now, we're going to see Andre Roberts, who had a base hit earlier over the first baseman's head. Let's see if he can put something together here to start out for the Lynx and add to that lead. Drew Toombs continues to warm up in the Lynx pen, and we will most likely see him come out for the 7th inning.
Andre Roberts, 1 for 2 today. The first pitch he takes is outside and low for ball 1. We're going earlier about how we said,
Roberts is hit by a breaking ball right on the backside there, so he'll go on down to first, and the Lynx have a leadoff runner aboard.
Talking about earlier how we said, you say that Dylan, you believe this is the best time of year when it comes to sports. It could be argued with, October, World Series baseball time, playoffs.
October.
And you also college football, college basketball just starting around that time as well. Football, NFL in season, ML, and NBA, NHL all getting kickstarted, as well as Premier League soccer. In the heat of things,
the fall time is a great time for sports, as Dalton Turner, the pinch hitter, takes strike 1. But springtime for me, I think, is a really, really great time for sports. And just speaking on baseball in general, I know that the playoffs are in October, but there's just something about April. As Andre Roberts takes off for second, he got a good jump. The throw to second's going to be late. He'll be in there safely with a stolen base. That's his second of the day. He stole third base earlier. But there's such a renewed sense of hope in the air in April with every team starting opening day, and there's just an excitement for every team that everybody starts with that clean slate, and there's just so much that can happen. You have 6 months of baseball to look forward to. So opening day in April and springtime for me is really, I think, the best time. As Roberts takes off again and another hit by pitch, so Roberts will have to return back to second base. That's back-to-back hit by pitches.
I'd have to agree with Dylan. Springtime, it is the best.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and the weather's heating up. And now we're going to see another pinch hitter for the Lynx, as it's the catcher, Cody Bowser. He'll come in to hit here. Left-handed hitter. And we're also going to get a pinch runner, as Darius Ford is going to go out and run for Dalton Turner.
I didn't know you could do that. I thought once he was out of the game, he could come back in. But
yes, you can. In the NAIA, you can re-enter your players once throughout the game.
So I'm used to Major League Baseball rules. Once you're out, you're out.
College rules vary at different levels. I know junior college has different rules about that. I played a couple years in JUCO. NAI has different rules. Division I has different rules. NCAA has their own set of rules. But in the NAI, yeah, you can replace it. There goes the double steal, and both of them are going to make it in safely.
Vieira's had a tough time squeezing some balls with that mitt this afternoon.
That's Roberts' third stolen base on the day. His second time stealing third base. Andre Roberts showing off the wheels this afternoon. Now nobody out. 2 runners in scoring position for Bauza. The Oaks defense moves in.
Down by 4 here.
Bauza squares that one up, but foul. And it looks like we'll also have another pinch hitter as the on-deck hitter, Brett Bunzelmeyer, moves in.
That one goes on.
And he'll get an at-bat.
Have fun getting that ball.
Yeah, I do like the roster change that the lineup change you can do once per.
Absolutely.
It adds a whole nother layer to, I think,
to the strategy,
to the game, and
absolutely
to the coaching, definitely. So.
And a lot of times when you see that come into play is when a guy is really good defensively, but he's struggling at the plate. So you substitute. You can hit somebody else and then re-enter them back on defense.
Yeah, that's also true. Players are variable. Like their mental state can change.
Absolutely.
They can be demoralized or moralized very quickly. So being able to switch out,
absolutely,
definitely helps.
Makes a big difference.
Sean, just getting some water real quick.
That one chopped foul. Coach Harper over there. Nice hands by Coach Harper. So the count's 0-2 on Bauza, and now he has to fight to stay alive, trying to drive a runner in here. Runners at second and third. The runner at third is Andre Roberts. The runner at second, Darius Ford. Still nobody away, so a great opportunity for the Lynx to build on that 5-1 advantage they currently hold as we head into the very late stages of this one, bottom half of 6. Bauza squares that one up, but right at the second baseman, he goes down to both knees and picks it. That's a nice play there on a hard hit ball at second base, and that's one away. Nobody has scored.
Got plenty of time to take advantage of these bases, so
absolutely
no hurry here.
So now Brett Bunzelmeyer with one away. He's going to try and drive in a run. He'll get his first at bat on the day. And he'll be looking to try and put a ball in the air here to score that runner from third. That's Roberts.
Dylan, I'm just going to let you take it from here. With all these substitutes and changes, you're right on your game, man. You don't need a scorebook like I got.
I'm on top of it. Been here all year long.
Yeah. Sean has been a little under the weather these past few days, too, so.
I'm not using that as an excuse, folks.
No excuses here.
No excuse. I'm still here.
The 1-0 to Bunzelmeyer misses outside. It's 2-0. And another pinch hitter moving on deck, Adam Miner, as the Lynx are getting everybody their chances here this afternoon, trying to get some at-bats in this midweek non-conference matchup. As this weekend, you can look forward to the Lynx taking on number 4 nationally ranked Freed-Hardeman University. There's ball 3. That'll be in Henderson, Tennessee this weekend, so be sure to keep up to date with that through the Lynx Twitter updates. And also the live stats through the school website. You can keep up to date with real-time stats. And you can check out the Lynx as they take on the team that currently holds the first place spot in the American Midwest Conference. That's going to be a really tough series for the Lynx. There's a 4-pitch walk for Bunzelmeyer. So that'll be something to look forward to as the Lynx currently stand in 4th place in the AMC, looking to make their way up even further. The Lynx have had their best start in program history in the American Midwest Conference as they started 8-4, looking to maintain that good positioning. And they did a good job of that over the weekend as they took 2 games out of 3 against Williams Baptist University. That was a road series that the Lynx won. Now Adam Miner, the next pinch hitter up, and he takes strike 1 outside corner. He's got the bases loaded with 1 away. This will be Miner's first at bat of the day.
Working from the windup, which is not typical, even with the bases loaded.
and you see, it's easier for guys to work out of the windup when there's 2 outs and bases are loaded, because you don't have to worry about the suicide squeeze. But with only 1 away, that's something that you have to be wary of, as that runner has plenty of time to break if the Lynx decide to bunt. And Miner is hit by that pitch, so the 3rd hit by pitch of the inning, and that one's going to score a run. So costly mistakes out there on the mound by Kelly is going to produce a Lynx run, and they now lead this game by a score of 6-1.
I used to work at Play It Again Sports, Fallon, Illinois. The last batter, what was his name? Oh, wow.
The last batter.
The last batter that just got hit by the pitch.
That was Adam Miner.
Adam Meyer. You know, he was using a Cat 8 Connect, and the Cat 8 bat.
That's a nice-looking bat.
It is a nice bat, and over 40%.
Step on third, throw to first, and the pinch hitter Hunter Schrage, the freshman catcher, is retired there, so that'll end the bottom half of the 6th inning. The Lynx do pick up a run. They now lead at 6-1. Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, the Cat 8s, so the Cat 8 Connects, the Cat 8s composites. Over 40% of college baseball players, not just in NIIA, but all over the country, use a Cat 8. Whether it's the Connect, the aluminum, or the composite. It's just a very popular bat that Marucci's developed in the past couple of years, and
it's not only a really nice bat, it's a really aesthetically pleasing bat. Even dating back to the Cat 6 that was available a couple of years ago. I remember when I was in high school, a lot of guys use that bat. It has a really nice sound to it. It hits really well. It looks really, really nice. Now they've come out with the all-red version with the Cat 8. It's a really good-looking bat, and it performs well, and guys give a lot of really good feedback on it.
It certainly is, and when I was there, I know 40% of baseball players that play in college use that bat. And here's the thing, in college, they could use composite bats. They could use the DeMarinis. You know, they could use the Eastons, the Ghosts, the whatnot. But people are using this bat, this aluminum bat, and it's a very good bat. It's a very high-selling bat.
Absolutely.
It's for probably bang for your buck, probably the best bat out there on the market.
And with this game winding down, we're headed to the top of the 7th here. Drew Toombs, the freshman, going to take things over on the hill. Rob Parks finishes his day. He ended his day with pitching 6 innings, allowing just the 1 run on 4 hits. He did strike out 6 and walk 3.
Pablo Martinez now joins us.
Yeah, usually our soccer insider, Pablo Martinez. How you doing today, Pablo?
I don't have any idea how this sport works. No,
Pablo doesn't know.
I know the basics. You hit and run.
Baseball not big in Spain as it is in soccer.
No,
I thought it'd be bigger than soccer. I mean, in Spain.
Obviously not. But I don't think we have a really like a team, a professional team in
no
Spain,
professional team over there.
No, I don't think
it's
so.
Interesting to get somebody who really doesn't know, somebody from not from this country and somebody where baseball isn't too popular. It's interesting for me, I think, to get somebody else's perspective who doesn't really know about the game when you just come to a game and watch of how confusing it can be and how I sometimes don't know what's going on.
I learned from these 4 years that I've been here in the United States. I've seen a couple games on TV. Then I went to the Cardinals once. Yeah. So from watching those games, I could learn a little bit. And today it's another opportunity for me to
The
learn.
most important thing to note is that the Lynx are winning by a score of 5-1. That's something that everybody can see.
I noticed that.
That's the most important thing. The Lynx are 3 outs away from a victory here as the count's going to move to 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
So Drew Toombs, the freshman, looking to finish off this victory for the Lynx.
I'm curious to know here, Pablo.
Tell me.
You are from Spain. Obviously, soccer is huge there. It's a strikeout right there. Gets 1 out on the scoreboard for the Lynx. Soccer is huge there in Spain. Is there any other sport that is as popular as soccer in Spain? Or is soccer strictly number 1 in Spain?
It is number 1 for sure. But then I think we have many other just single sport men's or women's that are doing great in their sport. We can say, for example, basketball, we have a really good team, or we used to have one. Then we have tennis players, really good tennis players. We have with swimmers, not a lot, but we have there's at least 1 or 2 people in that sport, Spanish guys or women, who play really good in that sport. But it's not that the sport is big enough in the country.
Did they rule that a strike on him because that ball hit him?
They made him stay in the box. So one of the interesting new rules that has been applied in college baseball, and this is not just the NAIA, this is all of college balls. There's a strikeout. Is that if you do not make an attempt to move, or if you move into the baseball, it's counted as an out or a strike. It just depends on the scenario and what you did. But you're going to be called back. So if you make no attempt to move, then you have to stay in the box. It's an interesting new rule. A lot of people don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it.
I don't like it, to be perfectly honest.
I'm not a big fan of it, but it is one of the new rules. So that's why he was called back there to stay in the box. That one's crushed out to left field.
That's fair. It's out of here.
And that's going to tail foul.
That's foul.
That's going to move the count to 1-1. So the Lynx 1 out away from a victory here. It's been a good game for the Lynx as they've scored 5 runs, hold a 5-1 advantage. And if you're just joining us late here, the Mighty Oaks took the 1-0 advantage from an RBI double. That was back in the first, and the Lynx grabbed. There's a ball hit to short, and that's going to be through for a base hit. The Lynx grabbed a run of their own in the bottom half of the first. That was on a Matt Janousek RBI single. Then picking up 2 more in the bottom half of the second inning to take a 3-1 advantage, and the Lynx never looked back after that, and even added 2 more in the bottom half of the 5th inning and 1 in the 6th. They hold the 6-1 advantage now, and they're 1 out away from victory here, but there is a runner at first.
Scoreboard says 5-1.
6.
It should be 6-1. Oh well. Oh, good thing for you, Dylan. Stay on.
I'm on top of it.
He's on top of it. You know. Oh well.
So Toombs looks in for his next sign, the 0-1 count. And there's a chopper to Kellan Murray, and this should do it. Throws on to Janousek at first, and the Lynx wrap this one up. They win it by a score of 6-1. They take game number 1 here. A good offensive showing from the Lynx, 6 hits. They score 5 runs, no errors. 1 run, 4 hits, and no errors for the Mighty Oaks. So Lynx take game number 1. And for all of the guests that we've had on here today, we want to thank everybody for coming on and having a good time on air. Sean, we thank you as always for coming on and doing play-by-play, having a good time here.
I try to do my best.
That'll wrap things up for this LBTV production. We thank you all for joining us. Game 2 is going to start in about 30 minutes, and you can catch that live on the Lindenwood Lynx Twitter stream. That'll come your way in 30 minutes, but that's going to wrap things up. Thank you for tuning in to LBTV, and I'm Dylan Chisholm for Pablo Martinez and for Sean Michael. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.